Hey brother, hello everyone listening. Nice to meet you or see you in person. I just want to say a quick thank you to anyone that's listened so far, and to basically just say like cheers for listening, cheers for reaching out and feeding back if you have been.
100.
It's cool to be able to be at a place where we can do this visually, so thanks so much.
Thank you guys.
Secondly, how are you, brother? I haven't seen you for 7 months in the flesh, man. How are you?
You know, I feel amazing, to be honest. I think we're in a cool place. We've made it visual, which is a big part of what I think we like to do. And on that basis, this week's just kind of been about excitement and hope.
Yeah, man.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, just fluid, kind of, you know, the world's starting to open up again and people are starting to hope. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
You can feel the energy shift.
Yeah.
Which is very exciting, but at the same time, I'm very mindful of those things because energy is neither lost nor found, it's merely transferred.
Mm-hmm.
So in a moment where I've realized that things can change in an instant, I'm not really looking for too much transference. I'm looking for what I can self-generate.
Yeah, I hear that.
I can appreciate people getting on a positive wave or an optimistic wave. But sometimes that comes by the visual nature of the world around us rather than you knowing within and just enduring and going, okay, cool, when it's time to pop out, we'll pop out.
And we've learned one thing in the last year, is that maybe don't put all our eggs in one basket on certain dates and certain times.
100%.
Yeah,
I think we had a really cool conversation where we said, what this period has shown is that as humans, we love the basis of the idea that we're in control until we're not. And we should understand every time we walk in a park or in nature, we are not in control. Because you cannot be in control of something you don't understand. So when we understand the construct of management, do you know what I'm saying? Then we understand management is a construct of control. Because what it is, it's control in a more minor way that allows you to be able to, if you can, do what you need to do. Like, for example, with time, you can't stop time, you can't start time. But what you can do is manage it by knowing what you've got either way, what something will take. And that's where I feel like coming out of this period now, I'm a lot more intentional about management, self, understanding it as a control construct, but not allowing it to get to a place where if I don't feel like I've got my hands on the tap, then, you know, it's not going to run or flow.
Right.
I'm way more chill.
Yeah.
Way more chill.
What I hear you saying is getting comfortable existing in the space that only you can control around the elements of reality that you can't control, right?
Dude.
In terms of, I mean, I think like, oh man, if there's one thing that's been proven this entire last year or so, however long it's been going on, I've completely lost track. I stopped counting how many days we've been indoors. A long time ago. If there's one thing we've learned, I think it's that the world is going to do what the world's going to do, no matter how you feel about it, no matter how angry you are about it. The world is going to do what the world's going to do. And you can either suffer for that minute to minute. It's kind of like someone said to me a while ago about holding grudges. It was that nothing's actually happening when you're angry at someone. In terms of like the world isn't being affected by your anger. You're just holding that for you. So what's your purpose? What's the gain of maintaining hatred towards someone that's wronged you in the past for the sake of continually trying to work out a problem that can't be solved
100%
in your own head?
100%.
Unless you can take some action towards it and address that person and be like, hey man, that thing that happened that time, either I'm sorry about that or I feel that you hurt me this way, or etc. Like, there's nothing. Otherwise, you're treading water in your own head and exhausting yourself for no reason.
Dude, and I always think that holding grudges, resentment, bitterness, first of all, I think they're spiritual cancers.
Right.
And
That's a big phrase.
Oh my,
cancer right there.
Yeah, because the minute you say cancer, everybody knows what that means.
For sure.
Irrespective. Oh my gosh, dude. Before I tell you where it is, the minute I say that, your mind immediately goes, oh,
yeah,
time's running out.
Yeah.
Clock, bruv, you think the egg time is trickling out. Real talk.
For real.
Let's be 100 about it.
For real.
So the reason why most of us, when I add the term spiritual before it, is that it kind of goes into this floaty space where people are like, it must be serious, but can it be?
Yeah, it's a little bit safer than that.
Oh, but I'd always say it's worse. Because the medical form that we deal with is your quickest or is a quicker route into an eternal transition. This isn't it, Lucas.
That's the.
Do you understand what I'm saying? This, as
Isn't
what
it?
we know,
Yes,
it's
yes,
not
yes.
it.
It's
It's
not.
a preparation ground. If you want, it's an intermittent waiting room of preparation.
And I want to make it clear here as well that I think for some people, even the most cynical, least faith-driven, least religious person in the world can't deny at this point that this clearly isn't it. I mean, on a quantum physics level,
Lucas.
it's become evident that this isn't it. We know. I think everyone knows this ultimately.
Of course.
I think everyone knows this
But
ultimately.
these are the things we think about in our lonely hours.
And it's scary. It's scary for a lot of people. It's scary for me sometimes. And I enjoy talking like that. I enjoy, I remember being in school at points and literally stopping lessons to be like, can we all just briefly appreciate this is mad.
I love that.
Like, what's happening is mad. Like we're sitting here.
Man was at school, like right there. We need a moment of clarity, people. We're gonna have some meditation.
I swear down. Do you know what it was? It was one RE teacher put me onto the idea. He said that, he goes, every student in the UK, and you'll never be told this again, is entitled to 15 minutes meditation a day.
Wow.
But no one's told that because it's too disruptive to the format of school.
Wow.
From that point on, I was like, I might take my 15 minutes.
People like you and I would be like, sir, I'm gonna need that 15.
I'm gonna need that 15.
Halfway through, he's explaining Pythagoras' theorem. Yeah. I need to go meditate.
I'm head up.
I love that so much. But I get it.
But for real, like, I can't help but, there's a running joke my brother and I have where it's like, say the sun's setting and it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
And like you're walking through town and there's people on their phones and there's people. I'm kind of like, it's the biggest sin of all time that we're not on our knees in tears appreciating how beautiful this moment is.
But we're desensitized to it, Lucas.
And that's the thing. Or actively distracted even. And I don't mean that to sound conspiratorial.
No.
But if what's our devices? What is this if not comforts?
The device, it's a Sentinel. Do you know what? I was watching The Matrix the other night and my phone went, and the Sentinels were just about to attack Zion. And I just went,
He's beginning to believe.
and you know what? You want to know why? It's because Morpheus was talking to the man then. And he was like, because they were like, oh, there's no way that, this is happening because of da-da-da-da-da. And there's 250,000 Sentinels. And Morpheus was like, well, I can understand why that is because that's an individual one for every single person here. And I was like, that's deep. And then just in that little transition of time, sometimes you can have a moment and you sit there and it's almost like time is suspended because you reach just a moment of stillness. And obviously with me, the way I teach, as much as I'm into giving information, I am consistently looking at the holistic process. Okay, when I give you the information, how is that then affecting you? How are you then? Because you can see when something's going in a person and the cogs are turning. And the relationship that our colleagues and the generation below, and also our parents to a degree, I guess, because, they love Facebook.
And they don't have to use it
Bro.
either correctly, some of them.
We're jacked into our devices in a different way. And like we say, in all things, I believe in balance. So I'm not this person that's just going to sit there and go, no, devices are terrible. No. You just need to be better. Because the device does not make you do that. It's hooked into you based on repetition that's now become habitual. And one thing we know about habit is that it's voluntary and involuntary.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's happening on a level of
Dude,
subconscious
there
you're
are
barely
so
aware
many
of.
times where I'm chilling. My phone is next to me, yeah? I'm not doing anything. And without even realizing, bruv, my hand is going to catch my phone. And I've actively said it to myself a couple of times, what are you doing?
You don't need that.
So then the reason we're distracted is because we have lost focus.
Yeah.
So then if you don't know what your spark is, which is your gift, you're never going to find your purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, how are you ever going to find reason? So then you need to be distracted because that is a type of purgatory.
Yeah.
You're wandering, almost zombified, because now you're trying to do stuff to fill time. But then you're going to get to a stage where you're going to want more time and then kill yourself based on, and when I say kill yourself, in terms of mentally traumatic,
For sure.
you're going to be up on yourself for how much you wasted when you get to the point where you're sick of dealing with what I call the filler because it doesn't fulfill you. And then by the time you start to figure out what your purpose is, you have that thing of feeling like it's too late. And it's when we find people, when you get to, in my opinion, what I like to call the sunset part of your life. Those that have fulfilled their purpose, they ease into it. Those that haven't get real busy. So when people start seeing people traveling the world, blowing all their dough. Oh, I'm gonna shave my head off. I'm gonna build a new fairy house at the top of the house.
Yeah.
Why? In a life where if you've managed the time properly, you'll go through all of those transitions. Lucas, the car I buy at 40 is not the car I expect to buy at 50 or 55 or 60 because they're different transitions of my life. So then sometimes because we're not conscious and we're desensitized to the reality of who we are, you have 4 unique identifications, Lucas, that are holistically individual and unique to you. On planet Earth, where we are the most populated thing, 7 billion plus of us, we're the most individualistic. No one else has your fingerprint. No one else has your retinal ID. No one else has your DNA. No one else has your venal ID, DNA ID. You're on purpose. So then if you're on purpose, there must be a plan.
But I also think that for a society that's so terrified of death, and ever even starting to begin that conversation, we're very comfortable with living in a state of, like you say, zombification, which isn't far removed from death in terms of waking up in the morning and not having a present moment all day, not having a single moment all day where you are sort of addressing that you're having a conscious experience,
100%,
and that it's happening now, and the people that you look in the eye are having a separate conscious experience that's happening now.
I'm with you.
I think these are dangerous in a major way, and I think they're incredibly powerful and beautiful in an almost equal way.
Balance.
But we're not there. We're not at the balance.
Of course we're not.
Have you seen The Social Dilemma, that documentary?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
And when I listen to what the men...
Do it. End this.
Okay.
Take us there, bro.
I had a conversation with you where I said creation cannot complete creation.
Yes, you did.
If you drive a Ford Focus and I drive a Ford Focus, parking our cars next to each other, talking to the bonnets and saying, okay, guys, we'll be back in 20 minutes. I'm going to need you to service each other. If our cars could talk, they would look at each other and go, bro, I know we share the same parts, but I don't have the capacity to understand why your part was made. In the motion of what we do when we drive, I know it works. There's a reason why taking that car to the Ford Focus garage is the best thing for it. And even when you can't take it to the garage through which it was made, you can find a mechanic connected to that garage that understands the mind of the manufacturer, that can then tell the car, even though it doesn't share its part, what that part was made for.
Hear that?
So then, on that basis, you need creator to complete creation. Because so many of us are looking for that thing that fulfills us. Lucas, I've actually changed my description of people and I go, what do you do? Yeah, for the last 10 years, I've flipped between I teach, I'm a musician, I'm a creative. No. I activate people.
And I've seen that. I can testify to that.
But I don't want it to
I've seen
be...
people leave your classrooms,
You're
bro.
so silly.
I've seen it.
I don't mean that though in a way where it sounds like this, like, yeah, I bring people, and I don't, no. When I say I activate people, you are a spirit, you live in a body, and you have a soul, okay? Now, your spark is your gift. So for me, that's singing. My purpose is to teach. My reason is heaven and beyond, yeah? Now, we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago where we touched on, where you asked me something that was quite a bit left. You're like, are you afraid of dying? And the answer was so quick, and I was just like, I'm going to need to clarify this so that people don't sit here thinking I'm wishing for something that I'm really not, because I love life. The reason why it doesn't scare me, obviously the idea of it is like, okay, cool, that's going to be different. See what I'm saying?
Man, so this feels new.
Like, this is going to be different. But not to the point where it's trepidation. Yes, Lucas. It will more so feel like the first day of school rather than I'm going to the teacher's office to get expelled. Because once you get over those first couple of steps after you've let go of your mum and dad's hand, excitement and hope starts thinking, because you see someone that looks at you, maybe smiles, you're like, that might be my friend. And you realize you're sharing the same thing. Rather than when you know you're in trouble and you're making that lonely walk to the head's office, knowing that, oh, it's going to pop off. Oh, it's going to pop off. He's going to tell me about myself, and then, Lord Jesus, I got to go home to my mum and dad. Oh, help me. You're scared.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro.
And the reason why I'm saying that I'm in a place now where I activate people is because through teaching, I have seen people come alive, not on the basis of what I've said to them, but what they've been able to find within a moment of self-exploration. When you know what your gift is, your gift will complement your purpose. When you have purpose, you can understand reason. When you understand reason, you feel fulfillment. So then you greet the next transition as like a promotion or meeting an old friend. Because you did what you were supposed to do. Does that make sense?
Completely. I remember, do you remember the conversation a couple of years ago, actually? A couple of years ago, where we were talking about, I remember it was when I just found out I was diabetic, actually. Yeah. And there was obviously a lot of mortality on my mind. When someone says, you could die, you start thinking, shit, have I been living right? And I remember saying to you at the time, like, the really vivid feeling of, and in hindsight, it sounds dramatic, but at the time when these things are happening, they're happening. And I remember saying to you, I was like, man, I feel like I've had a very, very full existence already. And I'm like 22.
100.
And I feel like, I don't know if that speaks to maybe the fact that we get to create for a living. And that in doing so, you're quite directly in touch with, I suppose this sounds so kind of woo-woo for people that aren't there for it, but like you're kind of channeling your creation to come through you. You're you kind of receive a song, you kind of receive a story, or whatever it is that's happening when you're acting or whatever it is you're doing. The whole process of that is removing yourself from that and letting the thing come through you. And maybe it's something to do with like existing in a way that you are comfortable in that space. You kind of get to feel a lot of life quite intensely, good and bad.
I agree.
But it's a rich.
You're a purpose chaser.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think you have to be aware of is that from your adolescence, you've been chasing purpose. We all start that way.
Right.
Then life, parents,
mortgages,
teachers. Before that.
I hear that. Yeah.
Brother, before you know what a mortgage, an electric bill and a gas bill looks like, you've already told your parents what it is you want to do. I'm going to be an underwater fireman. And then you start seeing why you can't. There is nothing more effective as a lesson than an example.
Yeah.
So then when you're doing something that directly comes into conflict with your first constructs of examples and your first role models, that's a very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very important and uncertain time because it can go either way.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You're either basically going to help the caterpillar to become a butterfly, or they're going to get caught in between two worlds. And the thing that hurts the most is that then that is perpetuated. Because then a lot of us become, when things don't go right, a lot of the time we get down on ourselves, and the pain of not getting there is so much that it's almost like we repeat the process instead of going back through it to understand the formula to make sure that we can make it right the next time. That's why I think why so much of what we do is important, because you have to be able to show like the people and the young people that we work with, that the projection of their dreams is tangible. For me to do, or for us to do what we do, and for me to live in London, it would be cool, of course, because you can connect with more creatives and stuff. But it's more powerful to be at home. Yeah. Because when I step out of my house and I'm putting the blue bin out, and the kids are on their way to school, and they've seen something we put out on Instagram or a show that we did, and they're like, "Oh my gosh! Like I just was putting out the bin for my mum."
Yeah.
Sure, what are you saying? Yeah, cool, Kings, cool. Yeah.
Hear that.
It's tangible.
Yeah, man.
It's tangible.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that so often that when people get there, or they find understanding, or they find purpose, it's like we lock it away. Yeah. And then if we do talk about it, we talk about it from such a distance.
And firstly, the power of being an example within your own community is, I think, probably the most important element of a society, having local heroes. Yeah. I don't mean hero in a sort of grandiose.
I'm so glad you said that, because I want to be like, whoa. Mans is not a hero out here. No.
Well, but you know what, bro? No. I would say, listen. I would say.
No.
From the perspective of people that grow up around you and see the way that you live here, listen, hey, you're not going to receive this. You're not going to receive this graciously, but you're going to receive it.
You see what I'm saying? I'm over here getting force fed. Man's like, you won't take this compliment.
You will take this compliment,
all
brother.
Right, cool.
Listen, I know a lot of the people who have been in your classes, or who have grown up with you as some sort of example. Yeah. And I can tell you the effect it has on them directly, bro.
Okay.
So I think the importance of having people like you in the community, like you say, to see, I love you seeing you putting your bin up, bro, reminds them that there is hope from their situation, to step out of what they've been given their lot in life.
I love that.
That's all I'm going to say.
I love that.
And if you want to use the word hero, you can.
No, do you know what? I would, if I'm honest with you, I like the term activator.
Yeah.
Or agent of change.
Agent of change sounds fun.
Because I believe that that's all we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm only meant to be an example and a witness of what is already inside of you. That's why when you're saying, and I understood it because I know your heart and I know your spirit, that yes, the projection can seem, oh, that guy is amazing and he, he's a hero, wicked. But imagine you're calling for Superman, but Superman's already within you.
I hear that too.
And that's why I say it's about activation. So many of us are waiting, even in the last year, praying for this cavalry to come over the hill, this vaccine, this lockdown to end. And one thing that I was saying to my students, the cavalry's already within you. Because it's about the self-perpetuation of what you believe. So when I say to you repetition to habit, repetition on the basis that whatever you practice, you will perfect. And I've seen enough to know that because of the visual nature of the way I am, the minute my environment's infected, so am I. But that's temporal. So then I can't be making permanent decisions based off of temporary circumstance. Yeah. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I have a greater understanding of myself, my purpose, and how that's meant to affect the world around me. Does that make sense? And so that's why for me now, even with some of the stuff we're doing, with the podcast, King's Speech, the TV shows, everything, it's about how do I help you to find your spark, your purpose, and your reason. Because if I do that, that is a perpetual gift that never stops giving. Because someone's going to see that example in you and go, how did you get there?
It's interesting thinking about heroes as a construct in general, because someone explained to me one time what the purpose of the monarchy really is. Okay. And anyone who knows me personally knows that I ain't really fucking with the monarchy and general power structure like that in general. But when they explain that the monarchy essentially is supposed to represent, or any structure like that within society, is supposed to represent the epitome of what you could be in terms of an ideal, in terms of politeness, in terms of kindness. God really is the replacement for the man-made human-made physical replacement of those ideals of respect and kindness, everything that the monarchy is supposed to represent, or even say Batman or Tony Stark.
Got you.
That people need those touchstones to be like to feel inspired to do better. Now, the interesting about that is that the thing they're aspiring to be is never actually that thing.
100.
But they have to present that idea so that you believe it's possible.
Yeah.
Because if you saw what your hero was doing, I think this is why people are so crushed when it comes out. These scandals come out with celebrities and, you know, like, pick any celebrity, any scandal. Why people are so hurt by it is because you hoped they were better than you. Because you were striving to be them. And when it turns out that they're just you, that hurts.
Do you know what? What you said is amazing. Let me tell you why. Excellence is not a standard, it's an intention.
Do you want me to smash this camera right now? Sorry, Jahmal's looking at me like, bro, you better not. But
Bro,
I'll smash this camera right now.
listen to me.
And walk out of it, bro.
Lucas, excellence is not a standard, it's an intention. The reason it's an intention is because the minute you don't... All right, say you have a goal, yeah? And you want to go gym, and there's a certain... And the reason I'm talking about gym, because we all know Jam, this guy lives in the gym, bro.
Jam's behind the camera.
Bro,
Everybody.
yeah,
Man
yeah,
like Jam. Check him out.
Like,
Tag him here.
Hey, if you...
Big boy.
You're so funny. Man's over there. I have to put him on the camera still. People just lose their mind. Now, if you have a goal and you don't reach it, when we're destination-based, sometimes the disappointment of not getting there is so much that it puts us off trying again. Now, when you look at excellence as an intention, that's repetitious. So it requires you to try and try and try and try and try again. It's Thomas Edison until you hit the one that works. Because when you keep going, it means that you're going in with the same intention to be better than what you were before. So then when you know that what you want to do is really caught up in your motive. We've had scandals. Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
He got there. We all thought excellence was a standard because this is a 7-time Tour de France winner.
Sure.
No, it wasn't. Because he willfully, because of whatever was going on, the pressures he was feeling. I'm not one of these people that sits there, it's black and white. He cheated. Yeah, of course he cheated. But I don't believe he started out wanting to do that.
Right.
You can get caught up
For
in your own hype.
Oh, brother. Of course you can get caught up. Yeah.
Now, where he would have been amazing is if Lance had sat there and one night gone, this has gone too far. Maybe got online and he goes, listen, I have to do this as a man and as a father. Forget Lance Armstrong, the Live Strong brand and listen. Because my first constructs of being a role model and examples to my kids and to the millions of kids that I have through mental connection that are basing the projection of their life on what they think I have or haven't done. Now, when you tell me that you fell and you failed, we have this thing in us that is like a sincerity meter. You can't fake sincerity, Lucas. There's been many times, especially in your field as an actor, where you've met a person who's gone, hi, Lucas, so lovely to meet you. And you've gone, you lying, you know what?
What's that for?
Disingenuous, insincere.
Yeah. People really feel that.
So had he had the humility and self-awareness to understand that all he was an earthen vessel. Just dust. He's gone and said, you know what, guys, I got to a place. The legacy of that would have been so much greater.
Probably actually more powerful than the legacy that the sportsmanship.
And let me tell you why. Because even if people hadn't forgiven him just for being that brave, you would have had a cyclist that would have come down maybe a decade later and would have said, do you know what, there were moments where I considered doing the wrong thing. And it was the example of, you don't know how many times I listened to Lance's apology and it taught me the intention of excellence. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think we naturally respect someone who can throw their hands up and be like, I fucked up, far more